Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the time zone you find yourself in. Welcome to another presentation of the Issues Room. It's the 23rd edition. We're back here just like that. Another week has gone by so quick. Oh, it's good to be back. God is good all the time. Yesterday was Thanksgiving Day. We celebrated the day. We had an impromptu broadcast just to commemorate the day, and it was good. So it's back in our regular edition, and this evening we're gonna have a good one for you. Moses Sandy backstage is in studios right now. Welcome, Moses. How you doing today?
Well, I'm happy to be
Man,
back.
get a little lively, man. Get bubbly. Come on, talk to me. How you doing?
Yes, I'm saying that I'm happy to be back with another thought-provoking discussion. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. We showed gratitude for all the good things that continue to happen in our life, and so it's pleasing to be back again today to kick off another important discussion on Liberia.
Absolutely, and we continue in the series of the rule of law. We touched on it a few weeks ago, and I always say that Liberia is never shy of giving you something to talk about. Lately, many of the things that come out of Liberia, they're not so positive. So this evening we're going to be discussing it. But just in case you out there and watching, you can come into the chat room. Let us know you're here. We want you to say hi. I'm here, and the first person tonight is Lucinin Darami. We say, Lucinin Darami, welcome to the Issues Room. Share the link, invite a friend. We're here on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, midnight in Liberia. Mike Thomas Fambula. Hi, my brother. Welcome. Continue to share the link, invite a friend. Um, we are the alternative media platform here, and what we try to do is to just throw light, enlighten, do some enlightenment, throw light on the issues, bring people who are important, in studios to talk with us and share their own perspectives. Sometimes we dissect the issue and talk about it, Moses, and allow the callers to call in and contribute. And so we have a variety of what we do. Kowu, Gloria, Voca Moba, welcome to the show. This evening, we're talking about the rule of law, Moses. Lately, we've seen some things happening. Uh, First, in I believe probably close to a week and a half now, in Nima County, there was a land dispute. Uh, Elton Tia, welcome. May Highs Bleacher Radio and television in Buchanan, welcome. But anyway, as I was saying, there was a land dispute out there in the Nima County. I believe it's all in a probably district neighborhood. Um, and that land dispute led to thousands of people going displaced, or hundreds of people going displaced, and it even led to one death.
Right.
So our studio guest tonight will be joining us shortly. We'll talk about that. We're also going to be looking at the issue of the hiding criminal from the Douala area where they call their base and exchange fire with the Liberia National Police, and that also led to three deaths. Then you have the Brani Samukai situation out there in Lofa County, where citizens of his constituency have blocked the, I believe, only road, the bridge in that
It's
area.
important, yeah.
Yeah, over the St. Paul River, demanding that he be certificated and given his due, what you would call it, whatever due him, meaning to get his seat, his senatorial seat in the Senate. Then we'll also see a task force that is going around, and it's a big combination. The task force comprises Mary Bro, who has the task force, uh, Thomas Dona, who is the LRA commissioner, uh, head of the LRA. We have Aaron Colley of Power TV. We have Julie Andy. We have a pastor. So it's a conglomeration of different folks coming together from different sectors in the country. comprising 14 men. And they're going all around the city, finding people, finding businesses, your business not looking correct, $1,000, So where are we? But I thought to throw light on these different things because these are the things we'll be discussing here tonight. How does it tie in with the rule of law or the lack of rule of law in the country? So, without further ado, let's bring in Mr. Steve Quay. Mr. Steve Quay is the president of the Kwabli District Development Association here in the USA. Good evening, Steve. This is your second time around in the issues room. It's good to have you.
Thank you very much, Shelton and Sandy. It's a pleasure having me.
It's a pleasure too.
So we already laid the ball, and these are topics that you are quite aware of, and
Right.
talking behind the scene, you're very accurate with what's trending in Liberia on a day-to-day basis. Let's start first with the Kwabli situation in Nima County. Bring us up to speed. What really took place, and where is the situation now, and how is it going to be resolved? And
Thank you.
I'm sure your association uh, is helping to mitigate between the different parties. Am I right?
Yes, thank you very much. Last Wednesday around 8:30, I received a call from Monrovia. In fact, from one of our citizens and said there's serious fighting in the district between the Biagblo and Babli district. Biagblo is around, Diala, Tapeta area. They are border with us. They have single border. And some people went to fetch snail, and the allegation that somebody seized the snail from them, and then they were fighting over the other result. We didn't know, but so when I called, the boy called us and they said they're going firing from both sides. So we were able to contact one of our eminent citizens, Jackson Pay, and told him what was going on. He was not aware. It was around 3 o'clock in the morning. He made rounds, called to the leaders in the county, Prince Johnson, and the rest of the people. He got some. So we said, look, it's an emergency. We want people to go there and separate them. So they were able to get a county inspector and the rest of the crew. They went there and separated them. That unfortunate incident killed a young boy, very young, promising young boy as a result. So as we speak, they arrested people from both sides, from Babli district and Biagblo. They are in San Nicolas right now as we speak. But we have been heavily involved. We don't want conflict over there. We've been living side by side for all those years. So like you're talking about rule of law, I mean, just common sense. Something happened. I don't know how it escalated to shooting. And it was a single barrel I heard that they used to shoot, one another. And this situation must come to an end in Liberia. We need reasoning. We need people, common sense approach. If you disagree, you can come and come to terms instead of using gun as a solution. So they are interpreted right now as Sani Kore, I'm sorry.
So just before Moses coming, so this is not about land now. It's about snail. You mean
it's about land. The underlying factor is land, but our understanding is that the land is
they
there.
Went to pick the snail from other people's land.
Right. So the people seize the snail, and they said, "No, we want our snail." So the guy from Biagblo, they went and got it and got, I think, bags of snail. And the people in Babli district, the Baton said, no, this snail, you say you got an area, why you want to pick it? So when they seized the bags of snail, that's started the whole issue. But the underlying factor is the land demarcation. Yeah.
Come in, Moses.
Yeah, so Steve, I want you to clarify this rumor out there. It has been rumored that some Burkinabes were also involved in this conflict.
Well, that is the rumor I heard myself. But the county attorney is appearing on our teleconference tomorrow to give us a clear picture to see what really went on there. It is my understanding that some Burkinabes are, farming for other people over there. I don't know the guy involved, but the police there, they're doing a good job. They arrested everybody and taking statements.
Okay.
so they can know the shooter.
Okay. So besides people being arrested, are people also being held in connection with the case?
My understanding is that the arrested 4 person each from both sides.
Okay.
And today they just called me and said that they identified a shooter.
Okay.
He's incarcerated right now. So we're doing everything. We said this is not guilt or crime. Individuals are very bad. We don't want to. It's just individual want to make sure that they be brought to justice. We want to live side by side. So the individual should be brought to justice, and that is our role right now.
So what happened to the hundreds of people who got displaced as a result of fleeing the riot and the fights among? Are they able to go back now?
Yeah,
Are things settling down?
yes, it's my understanding that all of them are going back. In fact, but my organization is trying to seek the relief effort. It was emergency first. Now we're turning it to relief effort to help both sides because, as I said, we are all one people who live together. Those that did that, they are different. And then the ordinary people that fled, we want to see how much we can reach out to them. 4 person got wounded from the hospital. They shot them, but they also discharged now.
Are people seeing that the things got missing as a result of running?
Yes,
You know,
they
helter
said when they
skelter?
left. Yeah, when they left their homes, I spoke with the town chief because when the shooting was going, everybody fled. But then when they came back, most of the things were missing. That's why we want to see how much we can be a help to them.
Okay, so besides the displacement of people and people losing other properties, were homes set ablaze as a result of the incident?
No, initially that's what we heard. But when I spoke to them, when the security there, people went home, they said no home was ablaze. It's just that they looted their things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what accounted? Oh, come in, Mo.
No, quickly, of a candle. Before this incident, how would you describe the relationship between the two districts?
Well, prior to the war, we lived together. There nothing like confusion. But after the war, I think from what we're hearing is that the young people are not listening to the older folks from both sides as a result. And in fact, the little boy who they shot, they got a vigilante group. He was the president, and he knew those guys when those guy was shooting coming. He said, "No, these are my former, classmates. We play ball together." And he went to talk to them and said, "Look, y'all put a gun down. Let's discuss." And I heard that when he turned it back, I went to fire on it in a bike. So we've been living together.
Man.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. He never expected that. They told him not to go. He said, "No, these are my friends." Like Moses from BW, I said, "Moses, let me go and talk to him." I don't think Moses had a problem.
Yeah.
So we don't know really what transpired, but the problem we have seen Liberia into our home, the young people had no more control. They do what they want to do.
So now, the Kwabli district comprises of Kran and Gio Mano.
Yes, right.
All right.
No,
and so
Kran and Gio, no Mano.
No Mano. Okay.
Right.
And so those are the two people going at each other because of the snail.
For the snail, but
because it's like you came on my property to take my snail, and that's where it came from.
Right now we're trying to after the whole thing we are calling both sides together. I'm having a meeting today. They got an organization here too who want to work together. In fact, their organization I reached out to her and they condemn it also. Every group are condemning in our place. There's nothing like you or crime. We all condemn it. We're trying to reach out to the
I'm hearing a little bit of clinking in the background.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So we're trying to reach out to
come go go to the other way. There you go.
So we are reaching out to the leadership here. I'm going to meet with them tomorrow. And we're reaching out to the elder by whom like Harry Nguyen, they're from Bloor area there, all the people from Tapeta, so that we can sit down and resolve this problem because it's very serious. We don't want to repeat of that incident in our district anymore. But as I speak to you, nobody, accepted that it's a good thing. The Bloor people, the Babli district people, we condemn it in the stronger term. We don't want that kind of thing. It's shameful. It's embarrassing for Nimba County as a whole.
Well, Moses, then that brings us to Douala.
Yeah, the situation in Douala. Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that Steve been following things that have been going on. But I believe it's 3 days ago. Quickly, let me
Actually,
just
on
recognize
Wednesday.
Gerard Aaron Cummings. Welcome, my brother. Thomas Awaji back in the house with us. Yeah, welcome, welcome. But yes, about 3 days ago, the story got mixed up. First, when you watch one of the videos, it said that the guys who transport the money from central bank to the sub banks in the area went to Douala, and the armed robbers broad daylight wanted to attack and take the money, and it's a pickup. But then the PSU or guys who escort the money got in a scuffle, and then they started firing. Then the other story went to say no, they had gone. The police had gotten tip off that this place called the base, where these guys would come and terrorize the people in the Douala area, go all in the market, take their stuff, and just run back to the base, and nobody dare go there. So the police decided to go and demolish the base, but it went undermanned. And when they got there, they met full resistance. And these guys just didn't, you know, put up a resistance, but they chased them out of that area all the way into Douala, and people were running helter skelter, exchange of fire. Um, 3 people died. I saw a young man laying with his motorbike. Accordingly, it was probably stray bullet that hit him, but people went amok all over the place. Um, this ties in with the country faced with a whole lot of issues every day. Now, give credit to the police, give credit to the police director for swiftly going in. Accordingly, they tried to demolish the base, and they made the promise that this base will never be re-erected. But how true it is, you tell the people don't sell here, they'll come right back the next day and sell. So let the two of you come in who want to go first, but just give your perspective how this thing continue to perseverate. People just don't care to follow the law. They just want to do what they want to do.
But look, let me come in and then Steve can come later.
Right.
Uh, Volcano, the situation in Douala, the police being challenged by hardened criminals, simply referred to in Liberia as Zogos.
Zogos, yeah.
This is a significant problem. I did listen to Director Suru, and he said that they got tip off from the people in Douala complaining about the activities of the hardened criminals and how they had terrorized the community. And so, predicated on that, the police decided to intervene to raid this quote unquote base of these hardened criminals. But the Liberia National Police is significantly challenged. Like you said earlier, the police is understaffed. The police has logistical problems. The police lacks the ability, and we're not trying to be critical yet, but looking at what is obtaining in the country, the police in recent times has proven to Liberians that it lacks the ability to provide this kind of security the country needs. The police has, limited financial support from national government. You don't have enough trained manpower. From what I have been reading out there, I was a little bit concerned that even right now, Volcano, the work of the police is being supported by ex-rebel generals, ex-rebels, and these guys are doing all of these things openly. It's nothing in secret.
Mm.
They go out into the community and even effect arrests.
Mhm.
So if you have ex-rebels and ex-rebel generals, publicly or brazenly, complimenting the effort of the national police. When tragedy strikes, who do you turn? Who do you point fingers to? Because the ordinary Liberians do not even know whether these guys are rebels or not, or former rebels or not. So this is one of the challenges. I'm told that one of the most popular groups that they have in Liberia that is now lending support to policing is this group called Kapau Kapau. I may be calling them wrongly, but they have this so-called community group that lending the support. The police, is not well uniform. So if a Moses Sandy goes wearing mufti, claiming to be a police officer, and actually Moses Sandy is not a police officer, how do you expect my mom up there to know whether
Right.
Moses Sandy is a police officer or not? This is the problem we have in the country. And this just create problem of law enforcement. And what we're talking about, Volcano, is not unique to Douala. It is all over the country. You go to Kakata, you have Zogos. You go to Lofa, you have Zogo. You go to Ganta, you have Zogo. This has become a serious problem in the country. And national government need to intervene.
You're right, and the reason why it is a serious problem because the people involved are the future leaders of the country.
Mhm.
Millions of them have no skills, no formal education. They have turned to drugs. Some are now living with mental health issues.
Mhm.
Some cannot function in the real world. And yet you have a Ministry of Youth and Sports, particularly the arm called the Ministry of Youth, almost doing nothing to address this pandemic. And this is becoming serious. These little outbreaks, like the one in Douala, the low skirmish, is beginning to be the blueprint. Sooner or later, they'll have to deal with this going forward. Steve, come in.
Yeah, look, you said it all. I would not even say rule of law. Our thing is lack of logistics. And I like to use a platform to appeal to the national government because we can't continue with this. I did a research, Liberia, Monrovia population is 2021, it said 9,309, okay, 939,524. And the ratio there, the entire police, the officers in Liberia, 4,100. Look at the ratio. I mean, I talk about the entire country.
Very insignificant.
Monrovia alone is almost 1 million. Then you get 4,000 police officers. I'm not even talking about in Monrovia, the whole police. So when the thing happened the other day, to my area, there no police officer will get a call, tap at that. So the thing would have been avoided when this thing happened. A police presence was in any of these districts to stop it. So the national government need to do something, even not just the president, but the entire government. You got legislators, look at the salary they're making. Are we focusing, especially coming out of war? The police salary for the 5,000 Liberian dollar.
Mhm.
And then you're saying, so I don't think, and the police continue to tell, look, we have no equipment to address this thing, and we're seeing it. I believe the police will be very effective if they're getting supply. So we're calling on the president, the legislator to see reason. If I'm a legislator making 15,000 and the police making 45,000 Liberian dollar,
Which is about $250 or less.
yes. So how do you expect the poor don't even have vehicle? In America, when they say police go, some they flee because they know how well they are equipped. So the national government got to be very serious. We're appealing, we're using the platform to prioritize the police, to support them. In my county, in my district, look, Nima is almost a central area. How about River G? How about Maryland? I don't think even Rivers, I don't think they have police in all the areas. If they have police then maybe in Buchanan, then when something happened, we had to have people from Tapeta that day to go there calling people. People would have been killed, a lot of people, before they can get there. And we have to do something. We appealing to everybody, not just the president, the legislative caucus. When they
Well,
talk about
Steve,
yeah,
the slogan says here, to protect and serve.
right.
And the fear here is that these guys who call themselves the big boys in the house, who going to protect them if
That's
things
my
go out
point.
of hand and the police are incapacitated? They don't have the logistics. They don't have the resources. Who really going to protect them?
It's a serious issue.
It's like
So,
you tell a man say you hire him a watchman, the man say chief, I need callers, I need this, I need that. And he say, my man, just go when you sitting there the pool and I bother you. What made it in the pool won't bother the man?
and I think the
The
issue is
people,
very
the people
important that
in
you bring
Liberia
about.
don't respect the uniform in itself. Then
No,
the man don't have no arm. Neither does he have a handcuff or a baton.
it's sad.
So
It's
this
sad.
is serious matter. So that's why the police just do their own thing to get around the traffic area. They like the little traffic area, the little traffic station, intersection and stuff. Just be hauling the little nickel and dime, through the day. Some of them in Susu. They gotta
Yeah,
make sure to make the money for the day to go pay the Susu because that's what it is.
it's
We are
serious.
joking. We are joking. We are joking. We are joking. Now, granted, we had Senator Dillon here the other day, and he said something that continued to reverberate in my faculty. He said that the very police cry no logistics, but when it comes to protecting the powers that be, and you see them come out in the regalia,
Right.
weapons, water hoosing truck, all these things, they come out in the full drove, and they're able to do these things, handle the situation. So then, where is that balance? Where's that balance? So we got only police to protect the powers that be, or do we have police to protect the citizens and the community? So that's the problem. Moses?
Well, yeah, as per the rule of the police responsibility is to protect what lives and properties, right?
Right.
So,
Absolutely. And
like
serve
you
and
said,
protect.
yeah. So, like what you're saying now, what we see in Liberia, we have a police that has become more political. If something happens to any of the higher ups from the ruling party, then you have police presence. When something happened to the ordinary people, then you don't have police presence. Like what you're saying in Nimba, police officers not available in Grand Gila, police officers are not available in Lofa, they are not available because the police is significantly challenged. But again, the very police officer, the senior police officers, will come and tell the world that, hey, we are the best, we are the most supported. And that should not be happening. People need to call a spade a spade. People need to be honest. But our people are not saying the truth. Of Volcano, the most senior police officer in today's Liberia, earn less than $500 a month.
You
That's
mean the
not
police?
livable
You mean the
wage.
police director?
No, I'm talking about a
Oh, like
corner,
like
other
the
guys,
Yeah.
or like the
they
one or two,
they
the
earn
one.
less than $500
Oh, okay.
a month. The ordinary officers could be earning between 200 to $300. Is that a livable wage? That is not. And you're talking about people who are fighting what crimes.
But you know what's intriguing? You know
No,
what's intriguing, Moses? Now they
no.
come with a budget of
Mhm.
$700+ million, and they're bragging, "Oh, we have produced the biggest budget." But the biggest budget, is it going to be effective? Are those line items going to be apportioned or appropriated in the right frame
Mhm.
so that the budget can live up to what it is? Or is it going to people who are the powers that be salary and still deprive the ordinary people the incentives that they need? Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, the National Police. You understand me? So many sectors in the country are in bad shape. Yeah, but you increase the budget, granted, yeah, and you should.
But
It shouldn't be a brag. You
no,
can live in the 21st century and still be living on $500,000 budget. So
No.
yes, kudos to you. But how do you generate that money, and how are those monies going to be distributed across the board so that we can see something change? We can see the change, that this budget going to reflect. So right now it's still confusing. We'll get to that conversation where some of the ministries bring in a budget, but they're leaving some critical areas out, and it's not reflected. And then when they don't perform, they'll come back to or Senate hearing and say, "Oh, and they were not in the budget." But when you created a budget, you should have put all of those things in. I did a budget. I did one whole semester on creating public service budget. Every item, everything that you have to do, you got to make sure that it there. What how you going to generate and what you're going to spend and all of that. You got to have miscellaneous. You got to have all of these things. But unfortunately, I don't know who doing budgets and they don't reflect some of the things in the budget. And then after the budget is passed, then they still don't have the right funding, and then they can't perform, and that's what
And
happened.
and I just a minute, I was saying the government, we're looking at the government in the broader spectrum. If County and Nima will have 17 administrative districts, at least every district must have a vehicle like pickup or something. So when the emergency, they can go there. How can a senior senator or member of the legislative caucus or chairman of the legislative caucus will sign a budget without thinking about these things? Because if something happened, they are rapid response unit. You got to go to Tapeta or San Code to get somebody or Wanga. So if people can get a pickup at least and assign, a police officer, like not just Nima, but all these districts, so that immediately when something happens, I don't even know they have radio communication. I don't know what they have. But that's what the legislator should be doing before you approve the budget submitted by the final administrator. Look, we need this. We need it. These things are happening. This is not the first time happening in Nima. I mean, other places, they see those things. So how can you approve a budget when these things are not outlined? Or if they are outlined, then they are not being, used for the intended purpose. Because after war, security is very crucial.
It's absolutely. How do you attract investment? How do you attract a foreign investment? Who want to go to a country where they don't feel safe? If you're telling me 4,000 police across the whole country, but only a segment of the country benefiting from policing, and that's Monrovia and its environs, and they still cannot contain many of the issues happening in Monrovia and its environs, how much more about the rest of the country?
But look, Volcano, Monrovia is the nucleus of Liberia.
Absolutely.
So if the LMP cannot even provide sustained security for the people in Monrovia, so what happens to the rest of the 15? I mean, the rest of the not even Montserrat yet. What happens to the rest of the country?
The rest of the 15 counties.
Yeah, what happens? Yeah, what happens to those areas? 4,000, hypothetically, 4,000 police officers? Are we joking yet? The last budget that was passed 3 weeks ago, it's a little over $570 million. Even with that, the basic needs of the police is ill-equipped, ununiformed. You see the guys that look so undignified. As a result, the people don't even respect them.
That's true.
And these are people that are responsible for the peace and stability of Liberia. And you have people riding what? $50,000 SUVs. How do you reconcile that? Virginia?
Well, man, let me tell you something. The honest truth here is Liberian public officials don't give a crap about this country. They don't give a crap about their constituencies, the places they come from. Some of them don't even go back there when they hit Monrovia and get in the house. They don't do nothing. And the people, because of the illiteracy rate, continue to vote these people back because no one seem to have, the stomach. People like Prince Johnson bragging today that he is the kingmaker in Liberia and nobody can move him. Well, what a guy named Prophet Key say he going to take him from there. Oh, you're taking for a joke. but these are the kinds of things. Man. But wait a minute, you got two evils, you not take the lesser one. Yeah. But the absolute truth here, Steve and Moses, this is a serious matter. How do we effectuate the rule of law if we don't have a robust, well-supported police force that should be enforcing public safety? that should be enforcing regulatory, issues and services.
Mhm.
It's serious matter. It is a serious matter, and it's serious to the point that it has to take something very, very, very serious to take place that will cause Monrovia and his environs to come down to his knee, before any government will be serious, whether it's the past government, the current government, and the government to come. Because the people just feel, because Liberia, the people tired, and the people, Liberian man, my man, Liberian man got stamina when it comes to poverty. I'm being honest with you. The Liberian man has stamina when it comes to poverty. There are people who go to bed drinking only water, and they still believe in the hope and aspiration of their country, the peace that is still waiting for. Because the absence of bullets and those kinds of things is not the presence of peace.
No,
Peace is when you can go to bed,
sleep
you
sound.
ate something nice, you went to bed, you slept sound, you get up the next day, you're able to go about your business, provide for your family. That's peace. But when you can't do those things, and the environment is not providing those things, it's sad. Nowadays,
Moses,
I'm too afraid to take friend requests on Facebook.
Yes, we don't know.
You got the first thing to say, good morning, good morning, good morning. The next thing, and not easy. This is a serious matter.
Yeah,
This is a serious matter, gentlemen. It's serious matter.
for
it
Canada,
is.
the program, Sonny, 1 second, this program is doing a lot to educate our people, even the voters. If you look, they're going election, people are not listening to most of the power to be. Everybody I see that the people had their hair, they did not win. You think the Liberian people sleeping, but we need to continue to educate our people, because you cannot vote the person who hurt you and doing the same thing over and over and voting for them. The power is inherited in the people, the people's power. So when you vote for them, you are empowering them to say, look, this is what we want. Like we don't have police, we don't have school, there are districts that don't even have high schools. And this is not what they think about when they go to the house there. They're not even thinking about it. For example, they got a vacation to go back to the constituent. They take the vacation and come to America here.
Absolutely.
What are they talking about to the people? What are the issues that are affecting their people that they're going to talk about? So the people themselves that are voting for the people, they need to be conscientized and should know better, because it's wasting of their time. Liberia is going backward every day and when there's strike, they say, let's go. If I elect an official of government, for example, to be my representative, and I heard that the president bribed you to make some decision that impact my life, I will first of all go to you or try to vote against you from being there. I'm not going to go to the president to say leave. You who accepted bribe, on my behalf to floor me, I will make sure we campaign against you and put somebody better. That these are the beginning of the that will help the Liberian people to make sure that when you elect people, the power is within you who electing them.
But look,
And they know how to put the people in power, but they don't know how to take them off
Right.
or out. That's the
Yeah.
problem. Moses?
yeah, look, let me just say something about the legislature. The legislature is one of the most powerful
Powerful.
branches of government. But unfortunately, Volcano, before I resettled in the United States in the 90s, I had the opportunity of briefly covering the legislature as a reporter. And I was disappointed that we had individuals who claimed to be lawmakers that were functionally illiterate. They had no clue what happened in the legislature. They did not read because they were uneducated. Uh, some of them behaved like when we were in high school, Volcano, the guys will always identify the smart students. Whatever position those smart students took is what they took. And that is the same thing today happening. You have individuals who call themselves senators. You have individuals who call themselves representatives that are functionally illiterate. They have no clue. Listen to them when they even talk to their own people. They barely speak English.
I call them
So if
band.
you
I
can
call them
barely
band.
speak English,
I call them.
say that again.
I call them bandwagoners. They just get on the bandwagon.
Yeah, yeah. They just flow with the wind. The guys don't understand the issues, things that they're supposed to be discussing. As lawmakers, they don't. Most of the time, they take bribes to pass laws. When you go for confirmation hearing, it's not about your skills, it's not about your expertise. It's about what you got to offer them. That's what happened. I'm speaking from experience. I saw this.
Yeah, but
Many
Moses, you're
times.
right. You're right.
But
The
Moses,
last,
you
the
have to
last,
buttress you. You have to buttress you.
Mhm.
How can you elect somebody who does not live in a county?
Yeah,
This man should be a legislator that he lives in Monrovia, no home, nothing. They
yeah.
go there. What is he going to do? Our people need to learn to send people in a place like here in America. If you're representing from Philadelphia, he will go to work there. After that, he returns home.
Yeah.
But people that represent our people, they don't even have any attachment to the people that they represent. Time for election from already, they go there and they leave. So what an interest. So the people that elect that our people electing, they should know you should be a resident in our area. Look, the other day here, when the governor Christie went and used a helicopter to carry his child to a football practice, the people said, no, that was not your official duty, and you had to pay, I think, $5,000. You can live in the States and respect government property. But if you're in Monrovia, you don't know anything about Nima or Lofa, and you just there, what do you think you're going to say about your people? So we have to stress, like what Moses was saying, we have to stress these things in the next election.
and I was in a conversation yesterday, and the guy told me, he said the only person that he knows of that really live with his people, that was the man they can't win him. The guy is from Cape Mount. Said the man very simple looking. He even know how to read and write, but he uses his influence with his people to his advantage. He doesn't stay in Monrovia after session. He goes back to Cape Mount in that district where he finds himself closer to the border.
Mhm.
He plays choker. He does everything with the people. He lives there. So all the men that come from Monrovia, come from America, won't go on see the guy. They ain't got no chance. You got a man to go to the mosque. He watch it with the people. He does everything with the people. So he's there with his people. But it's unfortunate. So this whole construct of the Senate and the legislature now, that the new money-making machinery,
Yeah.
everybody wants to be representative or want to be senator. But what they don't understand is that when they enter that house, they are the ones that driving the country. The decision to make in that house holds the president and his
Exactly.
lieutenants accountable. And when they go out of hand, the courts, the chief, the temple of justice hold them,
Right.
and hold them if there was a law passed.
Right.
So that's
Accountable.
how it should work.
It should work.
But when the president controls the legislature, that's scary.
Yeah.
But imagine Ellen
detrimental.
Mrs. Johnson, you a legislator, then you call him Oman or the president Pape. I mean, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
What does that say to you if you call him somebody Oman as a
Yeah.
honorable? You should be honorable man.
Yeah,
Oman
Yeah.
ruffle, Oman, buying down. What do you get from those kind of people?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
unfortunate.
yeah,
It's unfortunate.
yeah.
And-
They don't draw the line. They don't draw the line. I don't think these guys really understand the role. It's all I've watched these guys sitting in there, and some people just smiling. They ain't said nothing, but then the other people, they'll just throw something on a joke, deliberating on something important.
Mhm.
And the man will just fill a buster and throw a joke. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, not much. My man just got shot up. I wait for him to come back. But at the end of the day, you come to realize, you say, but what's going on here? Moses, This thing is serious.
You
If
know,
we don't have the best legislature, our country will not go anywhere. And nobody should blame George Manuel Weah. Nobody should blame any other person, but blame that legislature, that Capitol building. I mean, you go to the Capitol building, man, it's a shame. In the
but look,
Capitol building, if you call yourself a serious lawmaker who got control over the budget, you're fighting for salary, but you're not fighting for hygiene. You're not
yeah.
fighting for sanitation.
Mhm.
Tell me, who are you then? You're fighting for salary, but you're not fighting for sanitation and hygiene. Hygiene. You're using, in the 21st century, you're using P4 barrel to flush a toilet in a
Yeah.
beautiful building that looking beautiful from the outside.
Yeah.
Moses, this is a
Yeah.
serious matter.
It is.
And these are the guys that keeping our country stagnant.
But look,
And you know, just
Mhm.
before you come in, when they're doing these things, it plays into the hand of the president. It makes the president feel like, okay, but then nobody cares. And so I'll do what I got to do on my end. Go ahead.
yeah, what I was saying is that, as I stated earlier, the legislature has a lot of power. And one of the areas in which the legislature is very, very powerful is oversight. Before a budget is enacted into law, the various committees. Now we're talking about national security. There's a committee on national security. So if you have lawmakers sitting to review the budget, they should be looking at the police, looking at the AFL, looking at the various security apparatuses of government and see how much is being allocated to these institutions. Look, my man, you say police, but we don't see anything here for logistics. How do you expect these people to enforce the rule of law? But our lawmakers, like I told you, a good number of them don't read. They do not know the issues, and they go to these discussions acting like children. Sometimes I do not even watch, legislative functions in the House of Representatives because it's just a waste of time. You said you listen to them, no logical argument. The people act like they are in kindergarten school. They discuss issues that are completely off tangent when you should be discussing national issues. So most of the time, I don't listen to them. At least for the Senate, they have a lot of intelligent guys in the Senate who know the issues. When you listen to them, you see them discussing national issues. But then again, when it comes to what enforcement, nothing happens. Recently, the Minister of Finance was cited twice. Mr. Tua did not show up. He didn't. So
Can
what
you
happens
imagine?
with the oversight, the content authority which they have? Nothing. See?
And I
Let
totally
me
agree
let you
with
get yourself situated and you come back in. Okay, you
all
good.
right.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Moses. The illiteracy, like if you are a legislator, you should understand the laws. How many of them add laws in our play that, to say, well, this is the law? I don't see any of them. Maybe few, but most of them do not add law. They don't sponsor legislation. Nothing I have seen talking about it.
The
So
people
what
just
I
went there for
see,
salary, Steve. That's all they went for. Salary is and
nothing.
amenities.
You see,
That's
so
all the guys went there
my
for.
frustration when the rest say, let's move open bribe, the president bribe everybody. If we send you there and the president bribing you, I would rather moving you to put somebody there that the president will not bribe. Because how I think about they got 30 senators, intelligent people, then the representative. I don't know how can one person bribe everybody in the country? People that are supposed to represent you. It's unfortunate. And we need to educate our people because they're where the whole country security and everything rests on. That the most powerful branch of government, and they're doing nothing. It's like you're saying in fact, on high school better because you go to the debate, even LU at the university, IQ on the paragraph house. But people arguing Um, you get called by and they want to cussing one another mother. You're supposed to be honorable. So now when you're talking, children can't even listen because they're causing somebody honor their parent, honor somebody private part. What is that as legislator? And you call yourself honorable person, you forget about the issue, and you're talking to somebody, cursing like that. We got lots of problem on our hands, and we need to. I mean,
Steve,
that one is good.
Steve, they say, oh, this thing happen everywhere in the world, but because my neighbor house daddy, so I should make my own house daddy too. Because I'm looking for somebody to say that I'm not alone, the clean guy. No, because other nations do that, it doesn't mean that you should. You should set examples. You should be different. Right. And on the contrary, that's not the case. And when you have these kinds of conversation, being candid, being very candid, people think that you hit somebody. No, this is about Liberia, man. I'm going to die talking about Liberia. I don't care who. I'm not looking for a job. I don't need anything. I just need my country to be peaceful, to reclaim its face in the community of nations, to be that beacon of hope once again, that all of us can coexist and have a good time. I know the Liberia. I'm not that old, but at least I enjoy the normal days of Liberia. And I want
what can we do? What can we do to harmonize their salary like they did in the executive? What can we do, so that at least their salary, because the salary affecting the whole country, what can we do to reduce their salary?
And there are a few guys who said it. Darius Dillon, he said it. He said, listen, $5,000 is good enough. But the case they made, well, oh, we're taking care of a lot of people. A lot of people come to us, they beg us and this and that. But come on, if you put mechanisms in place for those lot of people to have job, to be able to take care of themselves, then they wouldn't be bothering you. If you go in your community and you create jobs, why you think companies should come in a community and the people don't benefit? You tell me, you're right here in this country. Why would big companies go in a community and the people don't benefit? I'll tell you something. I went to Shuffling the other day because I have my house in that area, in the Shuffling Township. And I needed crushed rocks. So I go up to Shuffling Town, and these guys are digging pits, cracking rocks, and they are making millions of dollars. But the people around them don't have anything to show for this. Whatever they're paying go in the pockets of people. They make their own prices. 1 cubic foot of crushed rock is about $80 to $90. $80 to $90. Just that little dump pen where the caterpillar, they live for a year one time and put it. So now they don't even fully. Like $80 to $90. So for you to get a truckload of crushed rock, maybe 5 to 6 cubic, you'll be paying a little over $600, then plus transportation. So by the time you get it to your site, you're anywhere around $700 to $750 just for one load of. But there's nothing in that community, nothing going on. But one of the cases that I dealt with in my graduate studies was the PV houses case. We call that land restoration. You come in the people place, you dig all these big pits, you destroy the land. And then the day that the company decides to pack up, that land is left, nobody can use it. And that's how you got the Blue Lake in Bomi, and you got many of those kinds of places where the people didn't do anything to restore the land, and it just extracted all the mineral out of the place. And that's what happened here around there. Yeah. So let's begin with those little communities where there are good things coming out of the community, but the community is not benefiting. This is a serious matter. But just before you come in, let me just give an intermission quick. We are here in the issues room. We'll be opening the lines in the next 5 minutes. We have with us Steve Z. Quer. He is the president of the Wobbly District Development Association here in the U.S. He's here with us this evening. We're discussing the rule of law. Moses Sandy, my colleague, the rule of law continue to pervade, our conversation, whether there is rule of law or there is a lack of, and leading our country to a country of men. We are discussing some of the issues coming up that been rather trending over the last several days. To begin with, the land dispute in Wapley District in the Nema County region, where a young man died as a result of people scuffling for snail and land, boundaries. And then we come to Monrovia, where in the last 3 or 4 days, because time flies, sometimes you don't keep up with it, but probably the last 3 days, when the Zogos hiding criminals in the Douala area went to toll with the Liberian National Police, causing 3 people to die. One other segment now we're going to come here with is the Mirabro and the task force to clean up the city. It had to take the president to call Mirabro back. We got a young mayor. All you can do, you clap for yourself, but the city is filthy. Monrovia is horrible. If you look at the drainage, the president said, don't put a gutter in the drainage the other day. He said, Colasco, and I'm telling you, you're staying here, putting the gutter in the drainage. But all of the drainages are filthy because the people deliberately put dice in these drainages. You know what? Bless Liberia, Steve and Moses. We haven't really had some of the disasters this country goes through, like tornado and hurricane, flood. You imagine what it would be like. My brother, we don't know how blessed that country is, and we continue to take chances at the things we do to ourselves. Come in, gentlemen.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you because we take too much of a risk in the country.
Absolutely.
That the issue of garbage collection, all of the drainages that the Samian Doe administration erected in the Monrovia area, all of those drainages are of no use now because they are all clogged. People use those areas as what? Trash, are areas where they take garbage because our garbage collection system is terrible. And again, I would like to propose, and I don't know if they are doing it, but look, the Monrovia City Corporation will make a lot of money if they can begin to charge businesses that are operating in the city center for garbage collection or even privatize it, like we do here in the United States, Volcano. You know where you live, the companies that collect your garbage is private. It's the same thing with you, Steve. Year for me, every 3 months, I pay $120 garbage collection. It's $40 monthly.
I pay $450 for the year.
Okay, mine is $40 monthly. That's what I pay.
So then what happened, gentlemen, with garbage and even people urinating in the street and just deliberately putting trash in the street? What
That's
do
the
we
lack
do
of
with
rule
that?
of law.
So
The lack of rule of law.
people
It
just
ties into that.
deliberately just turn around, get pissed, and then and just leave like nothing happening when they're drinking that little beer around the corner. They just go
But
right.
even and Steve, even with the sign that said "Do not urinate,"
So we got a lot of education to do because they are harming themselves.
Yeah.
If somebody step on your feces or something like that, they are getting sick. And because health prevention is better than cure, then they sit down and say the person's sick. They wish them they do that because you're stepping on the feces, the urine. You think you're doing it right now, but you won't like get affected or affect somebody that close to you.
The city ordinances of Monrovia are not respected by the people and even the business people. Individuals who own businesses, they don't respect the city ordinances. They may see a poster signs that says, well, no parking. They will still park their vehicles there, no selling here. They will still go in and set up businesses there. Again, that is what we talk about empowering institutions. If the city government can have regular patrol of this area, beginning to ticket vehicles, impounding businesses, individuals caught selling businesses in those areas, holding people accountable. Not just quick fixing when we get, oh well, Mirabro will bring Mirabro to literally running after people and imposing fines,
So
they have built,
what
some
happened today? What happened
legal
today?
barriers. Yeah.
Moses, so this tax was a combination of Mary Broad,
Yeah.
Aaron Colley from Power TV, our former colleague at LBS.
Mhm.
Then you have Thomas Dona, who is the head commissioner of the LRA. You have Julie Endy, the culture ambassador, and a conglomeration of other folks coming together to form this task force.
Yes.
So with the mayor, and now they're walking the streets, going to businesses.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
it is true. Okay, go ahead, Steve.
like you see, I agree with you, Moses. They should set a system, check and balance. I went Monrovia, the latter part of Ellen's regime, and I parked my car on Broad Street, and they literally gave me a ticket. So I said, "Where can I go pay?" She said, "No, just give it to me."
Yeah.
I was shocked. She said, "Just," I said, "What? Direct me what to
They're
pay?"
collecting the my ready, man. They're collecting the
Just give
my
it to me. I
ready.
get change it. So when they posted out this system, it should be checking. But that's why the people are not taking it serious. If you find somebody, let them go to the bank, not to the individual who giving it to you, because when the money they will use to buy logistic. But if you give it to that person, how sure are we that they're going to report it?
Let me add this to you quick. They're reporting it because they have a quota. I talked to one of the young men on Randall Street. He says every day, I think it's 1,500 or 1,800 labor tape. If you don't take that money in, it means you did not meet your quota. It can impact your salary. Just like they do here with the police, they give tickets, it increases the quota and stuff like that. So I think Mary brought that system in there so that it will hold them accountable to bring the money. So they do everything to make that quota. Now, if they're able to get money on the side, because once they rip that ticket off the book, they got to account for the ticket. So there's some kind of little bit of system, but it's the quota system. They must, I think, 1,005 or 1,008 daily. And
I got confused. I didn't know that, but I got confused. She said pay to me. I'm like,
you know me, I like to do my investigation. I call the man to the side, I say, "Oh man, let's talk. Where the money going?" He look around. He didn't want to tell me, but he would look around. And I said, "But you gotta tell me. I can't get you the money until you tell me." And then we went on having the conversation. Then I saw the reason why. The number is 404-272-2808. The line's open. You can call us. We're here till 8:30. We're discussing the rule of law or the lack thereof. Is Liberia still a country of men, or do we have laws and we're just failing to implement those laws? We talked about the folks who's supposed to be implementing the laws, the police, the MCC police, the different security apparatuses that's supposed to help, but they're undermanned. Not only they're undermanned, they're under-supported, they're underfunded. So how can we sustain civility, peace, sanitation, all these things in a country of more than 5 million people now with a 4,000 police force? What's the ratio? You mathematician, 4,000 to 5 million people, I guess is probably every 10,000 to one police officer. Probably every 10,000 or every 5,000 to one police officer. But yes, call us. Let's move to the next issue.
Quickly before moving to Samukai.
River Cespro is on the line.
Okay.
River Cespro is on the line.
Yes. How you doing, guys?
We are good.
Welcome, River.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the show. Kind of Moses and our guest, and I've been listening to you guys for a while, and talking about sanitation and our police force being underfunded. And I'm sitting here thinking like, recently a friend of mine, he traveled to Liberia, and he told me that he had a banana. He swallowed a banana and he had it peeling in Texas. So he was holding it because he's from the United States. He's been here for a while. So he held it until he could get it. He found a trash can. He said another person in the car just looked at him funny, like, "What you doing?" He just took it from him, opened the window, and just threw it out. He said, "What?" He said, the person looked at him asking, "Oh, you just come?" So we said, "Yeah." We said, "This is today it was strange that why it makes you hold a banana peel So I mean, I think we are a problem too. We are a serious problem. So a lot of these things, I don't know, for cannibals, I don't know how we can get back into civilization. Like we live in an old stone age now where, people just throw stuff around, and then, this is serious, because, and then you look at Koji, like I was saying the last time, he is the mayor of, he's the city mayor. But later time, every time he cleans a particular place, he goes on Facebook. Imagine a guy like Bill de Blasio cleaning Little Enclave in New York and then going on Facebook just to tell Republicans like, oh, look what I did. These people have strategic plans. He goes by the plan from his, his predecessor or, whoever was there before him. He's not just going to go clean somewhere just because Republicans say this place is dirty and you try to prove a point to them. So that's one of the issues. And then lastly to the police team, I just want to ask you guys because like I wrote over there, 80 to 87% of the police budget here is state and state control. That's why you hear a lot of states talking about defunding the police.
But not only state Riverside Pro, even the cities. The cities have their own police department in the budget. That's why you see these small boroughs and township. They have their own police. They have the budget. They raise that money through tax, business and property taxes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not just at the state level.
So how can we introduce that? I mean, God, is it lit? Why is it that? Because I think we're putting too much burden on the federal or on our central government. I mean, why the senators not, instead of giving these guys huge money, why they're not sharing these responsibilities to like take care of the police forces like in Picana, it should be Nyomli Kanga Lawrence, in Monson rather it should be Delon, and then equally distribute the police, because back when I was growing up in back in the 80s, or summer kids, I mean, they have police living in Monrovia, but they were working in Picana, but it looked like the whole police is centralized, and like our guest was saying, we were the other places, we got no police there, but everybody in Monrovia, is it too late, or can we implement that system? That's
no, Riverside Pro, let me come in quick, and then I'll let the other guys come in. This thing is a simple matter. For those of us who've educated in the United States and my background in public administration, we cover a lot of the sectors of the public, governance. The police force, that's why you see communities should be collecting their own taxes in this country. And you in Wisconsin, you know what I'm talking about. When your community collect their own taxes, they know what to do with their own taxes. They collect that money, they put the money through the city government, and they disperse it into the different areas, parks and recreation, police force, water and sanitation. Then those taxes, not only through the taxes, but then those departments then start to charge fees. So for you to go to the park and hold your recreation activity, you pay some fees. So that's another way of generating income. Police then go on the beat. We call it the beat. They're giving tickets. Those tickets are funds coming in and helping to generate money. But nothing is happening in Liberia because the central government takes responsibility for everything because they want the money right in their pocket. Nobody is willing to delegate what we call devolution approach. The devolution approach. You gotta give things away from central government back into the community. Get NGOs to be a part of. Get civil society. Get companies to be a part of. And that's the unfortunate situation with Liberia. And some of us here can help to make those things happen. But again, you got to be fighting an uphill battle. Gentlemen?
Yeah, I think you struck a very excellent point, Luciano. Because in Liberia we have a centralized system. When Riverside Pro talk about they don't taking care of the police, that won't be a fair proposition. It is not his job to take care of the police. You have a police authority that is funded through the national budget. So whatever that is designated for the police or national security, that should be handled by national security. We can't hold our lawmakers responsible for that. It would be unfair to any of our lawmakers to make such a proposition, But again, we have to learn to prioritize. And I think that's one of our greatest problems. Unfortunately, you have a country that spends more than 82% of its budgetary allocation on recurrent expenditure, salaries, and other expenditures. So then how do you cater to the community? How do you cater to the schools? How do you cater to healthcare? How do you cater to even fighting crimes in the various community? Because you don't have the money. You pay people what? 10,000, 8,000, $12,000 for literally doing nothing.
Moses, let me take this caller quick, eh?
Mhm.
The caller from a 2462 number. Where you calling from? What's your name?
Volcano District. That's Kanakai from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Welcome, my man. How you doing this evening? Good to have you in the house.
Yeah, thank you very much. And compliments of the season to you, Moses, and the entire crew in the,
Thank you.
of the issues room.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you see, our problem here when it comes to sanitation in Monrovia, the citizens themselves are to be blamed some way or the other. You know, they are not conscientized as to how to go about, you know, carrying out effective measures which the sanitation is safe. Because this thing, if there is a serious outbreak due to trash and other stuff around our place, one day, I mean, it will be a disaster. So the people themselves, imagine people use, they dig around the homes and put trash in those homes, especially people on the Bushel Island area. Okay, that's how they dispose of trash. Trash disposal is very, very important. I mean, people can recycle trash. I don't know what our people are conscientized to even they getting to know the idea of the importance of trash disposal or recycling. And you know, they burn trash. Okay, they dig holes and put trash into it, fill those holes, and kind of, I mean, it's just all over the place. Even the drainage system. I mean, when it's raining around the Freeport area, you see that entire landscape around there is flooded. I really don't know what's happening to us, and we have to conscientize ourselves. And again, another issue here is we that live abroad. Whenever we go back home, we want to, you know, maintain our lifestyle. And even a police officer, we don't have respect for them. The thing you can do here to a police officer when you go back home, you got your liquor in the car, the police come there. The only thing you have to tell you where you got for your chief, where you got you already violating the traffic code with liquor in your hand, and the policeman comes to the door and chief, what you got for your man? I mean, it's just rampant. All kinds of things going on in our country. So it's just time for a reasonable and responsible leadership that will turn our country around.
Kanaka, that's what we're talking about, the rule of law. That's what we're talking about, the lack of the rule of law. And it pervades the entire country, every sector of the country, every sector. But thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it. Call back another time. Thank you, big man. But, you know, Moses, is a serious matter. It is a serious matter. I was just sitting here thinking to myself the other day, the city mayor of Monrovia leaves Monrovia and go all the way to Painesville to go do the people's job.
Yeah.
He crossed the line.
He did.
The Painesville City Corporation is a corporation of itself. Yeah. They have their own city corporation, the different departments.
City mayor.
Yeah, and they have a city mayor. But the man left from Monrovia. He not city dead. But he leave from there, go to Painesville, he say he went clean red light. So this is a serious matter.
I think one of the issues that we can publicly appeal to the government, President, they need to privatize most of these services to individuals. But coming to that point, I was in conversation with one official just recently. During early time, they had a contract with Ivory Coast, but they have foreign government to bring electricity. So the government said, look, we cannot sign contract with individual. You, Liberian government, sign the contract. If the people are not paying, we'll hold you accountable. Yeah. So from that time, they say 9 years now, the people are not able to generate $90 million. Wow. So the people are threatening now to seize the electricity. So, you know, Sandy, one of your buddy, man, Floyd Thomas.
Yeah, Floyd.
They are just giving one of the contract from Kanta Sanikote area there. And the individual calling on us if we know people because they're trying to put it in the hands of private individual now to manage electricity. Nobody want to pay. They say from Kovala to Grand G there, all the area part of Nimba to Gray, people just using the electricity. Nobody want to pay. So like the garbage collection, all these people, if individual own them, they will make sure that they work. So Floyd Thomas was one of those now that I think got Eco Electric or something like that. So I think sooner or later the government will start to privatize most of these institutions so that they can be effective.
Yeah, so let's move to the next segment because we got only about 14 minutes in the house.
Situation, Moses. But cannot quickly before we get to Samuka's situation, let me just say something briefly about what Maryborough and the task force is doing. While it is true that we appreciate the work, but there are ways that these things have to be done. What should be happening as per the expectation as defined by the city laws is that before the task force can even move into communities. Take, for example, you come down here to Delaware, Newcastle, to effect, demolition exercises, begin to, inspect businesses that are complying with city ordinances. These institutions need to be served prior notices. Now, hey, we'll be in your community at the time. And sometimes there are even expectations that there will be some legal documentation that will show that, hey, you have the right to. Other than that, you could be charged for trespassing. And we see that happening in Liberia right now. Maryborough will show up with her team and come to you and say, hey, okay, you got your tailor shop, you got all these charges that you have not wasted for some time. We charge you $1,000. Like some of the things you were doing today. People were being charged or people were being fined $1,000. And when you take a look at the 2009 City Ordinance Number 1, what you see there, it says that fines for violations range between $100 to $500. So I don't know whether Maryborough is acting outside of.
That's the issue of impulsivity. You just go there and call numbers.
Yes.
Just call numbers.
To be impulsive,
Yeah.
So all these things need to be looked at critically, and we don't need temporary actions in dealing with these problems in our country. When that happens, then Liberia become a country of men, but not of laws. So
this cleaning campaign is tied to the bicentennial stuff that coming up. I guess that's what they're trying to clean up, right?
That's what they're doing. They're trying to give the city a facelift, at the same time hurting the poor businesses around town. You know what it made for someone with a tailor shop to pay a fine of $1,000? That's a lot.
That's a
That's a lot.
And then, needless to say, if the shop was not registered and paying taxes, then that's double whammy.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump to the next segment quick, because
sure.
We're going to be going out. So so Samukai won the senatorial seat out there, and he's now been held on corruption charges. He was told to pay some money. Accordingly, he's paid, I think, a substantial amount of that money.
Yeah.
The court said that they should give him his certificate. So what's holding it up now? The people are going to demonstrate.
Yeah. Well, Samuka, the irony of the Samuka situation is this. When Samuka was Minister of Defense, the government, through deductions, had in its account a little over $1 million set aside for AFL pension benefits. And that money, Samuka claimed that based on presidential directive from former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the Defense Ministry Authority went into that money and used a portion of it to, execute some other government functions based on reported directive from Mr. Salif. When Mr. Weah took over the leadership of Liberia, Mr. Weah, based on the report from Samuka and the outgoing
But that
administration,
was after the women of the soldiers demonstrated
yeah,
and brought that stuff to the public that they were
mhm,
being deprived, that
yeah,
husbands were
yeah,
being deprived benefits. Okay.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then we
So,
are met with them. Yeah.
yeah, so President Weah and his administration committed to paying whatever that was used by the previous administration. And they paid $460,000 towards whatever that was used. And the federal government now flipped. It said, no, 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 no. Mr. Samuka, you and your colleagues, the other individuals involved, other executives, or former officials of the defense ministry who will prosecute you guys, and we want this money to be paid in full. They went to court, the lower court passed a judgment ordering that the money be paid in full. And so they gave the ruling was that 50% of the money should be paid. And that was sanctioned by the Supreme Court. Brandon Samuka, as an individual, he paid more than $190,000 towards his share of whatever that the government claimed that he used. All right. So Mr. Samuka has paid more than $190,000, but yet the Solicitor General comes to say no. Samuka is being prosecuted along with other former officials. So whatever payment that he made, they all more come together as a group and make 50% payment. So because of their argument, Mr. Samuka has not been able to take his seat. There is the sticker issue that's going on right now, and there has been months. But let's look at the hypocrisy. The government is prosecuting Brandon Samuka for a little over $1 million. But you have three other reports that point accusing fingers to Samuel Chue and other members of the Technical Economic Management Team, the TMT, that allegedly misapplied $25 million taken from the country's reserve under the watchful eyes of Mr. George Weah. He has said nothing. These people are walking the streets of Monrovia. They are in position of trust. And Mr. Weah and his administration are at the same time hypocritically prosecuting Brandon Samuka. They are prosecuting Brandon Samuka while at the same time refusing to account for the $30 million that they claim to have set aside for COVID relief.
Well, let's come to the breach thing now because we're running out of time.
Yeah. So in the wake of all of these things, local citizens, through their traditional leaders, yesterday set up roadblock at the Simpour River Bridge, the bridge between Bond County and Lofa County. They set up a roadblock and say, hey, until Mr. Samuka take his seat, we will not leave this area. And that create a serious impediment to the flow of traffic in the Bong and Lofa County area. Now, it is my understanding that today, the Chief Zanzan Kawa, and other traditional leaders and other executives of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, they interfered, they talked to the Zoos, and the Zoos agreed to reopen the bridge, but they gave 3 days ultimatum that if nothing happens after the 72 hours expires, they will go right back. So where are we? Where is the rule of law in Liberia? Are you telling us that a group of people will just decide and say, hey, this is what we do, or we have laws on on the book that really define what is doable and what is not doable.
And I think the irony here, Moses, is that when the law takes its course
Yeah,
and the government fail to adhere to it, then that puts the citizen off to the street. Because
absolutely.
had the government adhere to what the court said, this
Mhm.
man should pay a certain portion, which
Yeah.
he's done. Then they don't want to act on what the court has said. Then what do
Mhm.
you expect? The people will take to the street. And that's what
Yeah.
happened. But let me let you guys go around the room 1 minute quick.
Yeah.
What do we see the future for Liberia when it comes to rule of law? How are we going to surmount this Herculean heel that we face as a nation? 1 minute quick, because we're at 8:26.
Go ahead, Steve. Steve,
See,
go
Steve.
ahead.
I think that the Citizen Action Committee, because we are the more powerful people in Liberia, ordinary citizens, being aware of what's going on and maybe educating like we're doing now and advocating for them. Because if we don't do that, we're doomed to failure. Obviously, we're not going to get anywhere with this. If somebody's doing something and we disagree with, we should challenge them. Be it legislator, be it the executive, we should stand firm and say this is how it should be, especially those who are in the diaspora and know what is right and wrong.
I
Thank you,
agree.
Steve. Moses, quick.
The rule of law should be neutral.
Good.
Those enforcing the laws of the country should be neutral. If Moses Seni is in the wrong, hold Moses Seni accountable. If Volcano Shelton and Steve are in the wrong, hold them accountable. If they are right, give them the right. That's what we in Liberia. We can't be cherry picking, and that's what Mr. Weir and his people are doing. They are cherry picking.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good discussion here. I can see us still dealing with this topic because, again, once we don't put our acts together, we'll continue to go in a vicious circle. Thanks,
Yeah.
Steve, for coming in studio. Moses, thank you. I
Thank you
appreciate
too.
the time again
What's
together.
up?
Let me just quickly wrap this up. Kanaka and Masale, thanks for being here with us. River says Pro. Let me see. Hamilton Zilli, you stopped by. Good. You could do that. Thomas Awaji, Emmanuel Jackson, thank you. Josh Sai, Palion, Nabil Jr. Well, I hope I tried. Welcome and thank you for showing up in studio with us tonight. Mercury Tisdale and everyone who was able to come in tonight. Gerald Aaron Cummings, my man from Rama TV. Elton Tia from Buchanan, Grand Bassa County. Cole Gloria Voca Moba. Mike Thomas Fambule and Lucinin Darame. Thanks to all of you for showing up. Again, we will be back here on Tuesday, 7 p.m. same time, 12 midnight GMT. My name is Volcano Shelton. You just heard us in the issues room. Thanks so much. Continue to like us, follow us, share the link, share the page, invite a friend, invite family members, and let's do this together. Everything we're doing here is for the good of our country. No one hits a particular person. We hit what people do and what they fail to do when they should be doing the positive things to enhance our country's well-being. And the country is in a bad shape. Let's be honest here. People who say everything is fine, yeah, there are some good spots, but for majority of things in Liberia, it's not that good. And I don't care who becomes president next. If you don't do the same as expected to change the country, we're going to keep talking. And some of us are clothed enough with the power to talk, and we'll keep talking. So again, thanks so much for being there. We'll be back here on Tuesday, God's willing.